Tonight a look at two Supermicro SuperServers. These are the 5028D-TN4T. These are on loan from Supermicro. And I have this cluster built for a specific purpose tonight, and that is to show you M.2 drives and their function. Which one? Well, on the market right now we have the Samsung SM951. In the future, the one you would really eagerly look forward to in October is this guy, 950 Pro. But let's get started with some BIOS pieces here. Here's a look at the physical servers, the temporary lab. Here you'll see a 10 gig Cat6A cable going from 10 gig to 10 gig directly, and then a whole bunch of 1 gig attachments. All right, and then the management interfaces over here that are lit up there and there under my mouse. Those management interfaces give us this, the IPMI interface that you're looking at. And you're looking at the two machines at BIOS level 10B. So I'll just point that out. And then finally, each machine has 65 gig of RAM. All right, let's head on over to this screen, save and exit. I'm going to do that over here as well. What do we notice? Well, okay, they both have an M.2 installed, but only the one on the left shows the Samsung M.2 drive. Why is that? Now let's head over to boot. We'll get a little more insight. Over on boot, the reason there's a difference is this machine on the right is not at the factory default of dual. It's been moved to UEFI for a bunch of reasons, but that's it. So that's just a little side effect you should be aware of, that it's going to feel like you can't see your M.2 device when you get to here. You just don't see it. Now, what else is special about M.2 in your BIOS? How about if we go to Advanced, Pcie? There we go. Advanced, Pcie, M.2. Let's put that in EFI. Now let's see what happens. Did anything change? No. So to make it bootable, there are these considerations. You're probably going to want to move to EFI to make it bootable. Let's go back to there and keep this video simple. I already have Windows 10 built elsewhere. I have it built in another solid state drive that's inserted, an Intel drive. So we got our C drive here. We're going to boot off it. It says UEFI Windows, so that's a good sign. So I'm not actually going to make any changes. I just wanted to explain some stuff to you. Now, before we leave and reboot, it's important to show you the Sata configuration screen. Why? All right. I want to point out that on the left, we have all 6 drives showing, all Sata drives. Key word there is the word Sata. The Samsung M.2 does not show at all because it's not Sata. Yeah, it talks AHCI and it goes right in the PCI eBus, but it is not Sata. That's why it doesn't appear here. What that also means is you have a nice bonus. Instead of just 6 drives here, labeled 0 through 5, you actually have the ability to have a 7th drive without interfering with your existing Sata devices. All right, so that's a key important point to point out here. All right, I'm going to go ahead and quit without saving. And we're now going to get Windows coming up. Windows 10 specifically. All right, so now we have our Windows 10 running right inside of this IPMI interface. I didn't even bother with RDP or anything like that, remote desktop. Should make it a little smaller though, so it fits more comfortably. All right, so now we have pixels that can pretty much fit. All right, sorry about that. Let me just finish that. Okay. I want you to kind of, have a better sense of what's going on with all these windows within Windows. Okay, so we have the machine on the left we talked about. We have the machine on the right that's set with an EFI BIOS and a wrong clock. It's 9 p.m. But anyhow, we're ready. We're ready to do stuff with that drive. So I did sneak a peek earlier. I could not resist. Without recording, I ran disk management and said, hey, I found a disk. Do you want to format it? I said, yeah. And I went and did that. So I'll point out that had we had a full Windows on the M.2, it may behave differently in the BIOS. So keep that in mind. Mine's blank. All right. So here's an E drive we have to horse around with. It's not this ESXi and USB key. It's not the C drive that we're booted from. It's an E drive with absolutely nothing on it because I just formatted it earlier. A couple hours ago. Now I'm going to run ATTO or ATTO disk benchmark on the E drive. And let's see what happens. What you're witnessing is my very first run and the first time I've ever gotten past 550 megabytes per second. So this is kind of an exciting moment for me. I finally have storage that can take advantage of my rather extreme speeds that this motherboard is capable of. This is looking pretty awesome. Whoa, right near the 1600. That's the highest number that the specs tell us. Where did I see 1600? Right there, 1600. So this is going well. Now writes are not quite as high, and more drives are coming in the future that can go higher in the writes as well. But this is exciting to see these kind of numbers without needing a RAID or anything. Just a tiny chip laying down flat on my motherboard. Okay. I am pretty happy. I kind of can't believe that it's actually working. This is awesome. All right. Wow. The possibilities, right? Like, hey, let's do a Veeam backup from my SSD to one of these. That could be pretty quick. I think that's it for this first little run at trying out the speeds of my M.2 drive that I just installed. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching and for visiting tinkertry.com. Stay tuned for more fun stuff coming up in the months ahead.